Hi, this is Janet Gallen. Welcome to Love Letters Live. And today is going to be so much fun. My guest is Barbara Rose Brooker, who's written several books, and her titles are always just, you want to know about them. The Viagra Diaries, and these are books from a woman's point of view. Her latest book is called Blow Me. And Barbara, I don't want to, interrupt a thought from you, but would you say that this is a book that is kind of your being at your wit's end with certain things?
Yes, absolutely. The title is not.
This is Barbara Rose Brooker that's talking now. Go ahead.
Hello, hello. And I'm going by Barbara Rose now. In case
I'm
anyone buys the book, they can only get it by Barbara Rose.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is with the title, it is not a sexual. I didn't mean it as a sexual thing, though many people are taking it that way. But when they read the book, they'll see. I get tired, Janet. I get tired of, because of my age, I have lots of opinions that are not, I guess, conventional. So people, because of your age, they kind of dismiss it. So blow me is like saying F you.
Yes.
It's kind of flipping the bird. I'm going to say what I want.
Okay, well then at this point, may I just ask you, read a little, first of all, hold up the book.
Yes, I will.
So we can see. And I will just say that you can order it on Amazon.
Thank you. Yes, it's available on Amazon.
Yes. And some other booksellers also, but yes, you'll find it.
Yeah.
I have my copy, and read a little bit. Would you just read?
I will. I'll just read. Okay, I sat on my glasses, viewers. So
storytelling time. We
okay.
haven't done that in a long time.
Blow me if you don't like it. Okay, I'll just read. If you don't like what I'm going to say, blow me. I'm tired of trying to be nice and saying everything right. That's how the book starts. And then I just want to say it goes into nothing stays the same. You think everything will stay in place, but life is a series of changes. Just as my dream coming true, the pandemic hits. Everything changed. And then it goes on after the introduction. And then I wanted to find love. And how do you find, love during the pandemic? It was lockdown when I was there. And so I sign up. This is from Blow Me. I sign up on Snatch Singles and point out that I'm a famous author, boomer hottie, over 60, way over 60. Hey, over 80. So if you don't like that age, again, blow me. And I'm writing a series on hot older men looking for love and to contact me. I received tons of clicks. The men saying they were hot and wanted to meet me. What do I have to lose? I meet the first one. He owns multi-billion-dollar porta potty companies all over the world. He lives in a San Francisco glass penthouse. He sits on an ugly yellow lazy boy, his short legs barely touching.
Wait, now, excuse me, this is the first part you knew from what he said online. Now you're seeing him on Zoom?
Yes, yes.
So that's how you know what he's sitting on. Okay.
Yeah, because the last few years, everyone is virtual. It's a virtual world. Right. So you're meeting them on virtual. So he's sitting on the lazy boy, and he looks different from the photo where he was standing on top of a ski slope, with sunglasses, looking real cool. And virtually, the poor guy is at least 90. Now, it's not about his age. It's about, the demeanor. Because during the pandemic, everybody is home behind their computers. He complains that his fourth wife, a 20-year-old influencer from Florida, took him to the cleaners. When he refused to give her $100 million in their divorce settlement, she banged her head on the wall until her eyes bugged out. Then she tore her clothes off and threw herself down the stairs. She told the police that he raped and beat her. Not only did she win the $100 million and 3 houses, but now his name is on the sex offenders list. Poor thing. I tell him my kitchen sink is flooding. I just can't listen to anymore. I press the leave meeting button and the screen goes dark. Poor guy. Raped her? Did he mention he was 90? So the thing is, will love ever come at this stage of my life? And I keep trying. I'm a romantic at heart, so I keep trying. I will tell you the next date from hell on our next visit, but you can get your own copy of Blow Me on Amazon, as Janet said. And you can see, you know, if I find the love during our virtual boom. And also you can hear my opinions on everything.
Well, we're going to get to a few more opinions because we have time here. I have a question about this. Here's a man who's 90, maybe over, and his 20-year-old
influencer
has accused him of raping her. Now, what do the police do with a comment like, my 90-year-old husband raped me? What are the chances? In what universe can a 90-year-old rape?
You know, that is a really good point. And it's debatable, you know, because the police probably do nothing but give him a Xanax or something, thinking he's 90, he didn't rape her. But it's not true. I mean, a lot of, see, in our country of ageism, a lot of these guys I meet on the virtual single sites, oh my God.
What do they say about themselves? You know, I'm really feeling sorry for these old men, because there's some wonderful old men out there.
Listen, they're not all that way, and they're not all old at 90. They're cool.
Let's even say yes. You know, 90-year-old's going to want to find some love also. And what is he saying? If he's talking about, I mean, do they talk about how rich they are?
Yes.
So if they talk about that they have billions, they're going to attract a certain kind of woman to whom this is important, and maybe the only important thing.
That's a good point too, because a lot of these men are not very developed. They're really, really not developed sociologically, psychologically, emotionally, and particularly now in this great virtual boom and AI boom, the ones who are the billionaires, and I'm not talking about Musk or, you know, the Amazon guy or those, but a lot of these men have made tremendous amounts of money, particularly during the years of the pandemic. And they let you know right away, because it's always been, I'm Tarzan, you Jane.
Oh, I understand that. And that's so stupid. But anyway, what should they be saying? I mean, what if they want to show off? What should they be showing off that would be attractive to you?
Well, certainly not their, you know, thing. I mean, a lot of them are perverts too. What should they be showing off? I just like somebody, you know, or I'm attracted to somebody who's cool, you know, who isn't defining himself by his age, who isn't whining about his last girlfriend or wife or money.
Oh, so that's a big thing. They should not be nobody should. I mean, the women shouldn't either.
No, and the women shouldn't
complaining about the last romance. And you know, when they badmouth their last romance, I think you can see the handwriting on the wall that you're going to be badmouthed at some point.
Not only that, but it brings up the whole thing, don't you think, about single sites. I personally don't like them. I think it's more like you're auditioning for something that should be organic. I mean,
sure.
You know, it's a difficult thing. It's like job interviews. Most are awful, some are great. You know, it's about connecting.
Give us one more instance of a date that was a little wonky.
Yeah, I will. Gosh,
and then I want to talk to you about what they should be showing off.
There's been so many of the dates that have been, as I call,
just off the top of your head. I know you remember them.
top of my head, yeah, that have been tawdry, you mean? Okay, well, there's
And a disappointment to you where you were
a
hoping for better, and what did you get?
right. Well, here's the thing, his credentials were fabulous, PhDs up the gazoo, and has created all these great products. And during the pandemic, he created all this interesting stuff for AI, you know, a physicist, so forth. So I think, oh, how interesting. He must be so interesting. But he didn't want to talk about that. He only wanted to talk about his penis size.
Oh no. Oh,
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
didn't say, oh
So,
no, I read the book. Yes. Okay.
yeah. So the thing is, sometimes it's so disappointing because they're not the people they are on the outside. And something about the single sites and the pandemic, you know, it's like next, who am I going to
I have a
get?
question about
Yes.
men who talk about their, how do they get into the topic of their penis size? I mean, that's got to take some finessing to get into that topic, no?
It
Or
doesn't
do they
even
just say, here it is?
it,
God help
it
you.
doesn't take even finessing. They make the usual remark I have experienced is, they get into like, I'm healthy, or sort of thing. And I don't need to take Viagra. And that's their first sign.
Oh, I see. So they're
First sign
letting
when
you
they
know.
start talking about the Viagra, I don't need the blue pill, and then suddenly they kind of like worm into, you know, I'm still, they get into the nitty gritty, some of them really bad. I mean, I had one who tried to show me,
Uh-huh.
it's that kind of thing.
On Zoom?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, there's so many single sites now too.
Yes. Okay, I have another question.
Yes.
If I were looking, I would want I would want to read something from a man, and I want men to pay attention to this because maybe it will help you get a
Yeah.
decent, really wonderful woman. Um, I would say something like, I'm healthy, I'm in good health, I'm emotionally generous, I'm fun to be with, I'm financially
Stable.
stable.
Hmm.
Yes. And I'm eager to meet a woman who wants this kind of person.
Uh-huh.
Not what would you add to that? Nothing about how much money he's got.
No. The thing is, Janet, what bothers me is that they have to say, or the woman has to say anything about themselves. What about just having a conversation and letting certain things reveal?
No, that's right. Once you're on Zoom, but when you put
Yeah.
something up on the website,
Yeah.
in other words, to attract somebody to click whatever they have to click.
Profile, the profile.
Yes.
Yeah, the profile is it. The thing is, they have wonderful profiles like that sometimes, and then you meet them in person, and the whole personality comes out in a different way. Now, I'm not saying everybody's this way. I'm sure they're not. Um, I just really wrote about the ones
Of
that
course, of course.
that are
What
out
do you
there.
say about yourself on a profile?
I'd say that I would love to meet a friend, someone with intellect and a sense of humor, and it's very, very kind of general.
Yeah.
I don't say you have to be a billionaire, or you have to have 3 PhDs, but
Right.
someone educated. There's certain things
Oh,
we
and
have.
to mention that you don't need a nurse or a purse.
And yeah, I'm an independent woman, a professional woman, and I'm happy in my lifestyle and with who I am.
Oh, I
If
was
you
going to
don't like it, too bad.
Yes,
You
that's a
know,
very important thing to say with, I'm happy with who I am.
yes,
I'm
yes,
emotionally generous. I'm fun to
yes.
be with. Uh-huh.
Sometimes I'm fun to be with, other
You
times.
could say sometimes I'm fun to
Okay,
be with. That's
what
even
you're
better.
thinking is important because it is true. It's not about the list, as I call it. I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this, I'm fit, I climb mountains, I do
Uh-huh.
this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not about that. It's about uh, people connecting And in the profile, of course, you're going to list a few things. I mean, I don't want to meet a 30-year-old.
Oh, of course,
You
yes.
know what I mean? I mean, I love 30-year-olds, and I have lots of friends who are that age, but
Right, of course.
romantically, no.
So it's worth saying that it's worth giving an idea of your age range for sure.
You know, that's another question I'm not sure about. I say my age now
Mhm,
because I'm proud of it and because I feel great
mhm.
and because I deplore ageism. So it's kind of weeding out. It's weeding out because if you
Oh,
say 80 or you say 70, it's blank.
all
It's
right.
blank.
I'm just wondering about that because
Yeah.
I had a friend in San Francisco, lovely man, and he was single. He had several children,
Mhm.
and just a really wonderful fellow. And he kept looking for young women. He was like in his late 70s at this point,
Mhm.
and he was looking for young women. And what he said to me over dinner one night, God bless DNA and what it instructs the men to do. And he said, "Well, I want to have find a really young woman because I'd like to bang another couple of kids in there."
Oh,
That phrase, "I'd like to bang another couple of
there
kids."
are a
I'm
couple of
like,
kids
okay.
in there.
So
Yeah.
so he could
Oh,
feel great being able to get anyway, he found a couple of young women. It was disastrous. It was just disastrous. I didn't talk to him for about
yeah, that's
months. Life got busy. And I called him one day and I said, I just wonder how you're doing. And he said, I've met somebody wonderful. He said, I got married last week. He said, I
oh,
married a woman of my own vintage and I have
uh-huh.
never been happier.
See. And because we're too self-conscious about age in our country. And we all know, Janet, we all know that you could have 5 90-year-olds in the room or 5 70-year-olds or 80-year-olds. Each one is going to be different,
Of course. Of course.
different in look different, act different. I mean, it's not a one size fits all. And
Right.
that's the sad part. A lot of them act like it is. So
Mm.
do you put your age or not? I don't know. It's a matter of,
Depending what you want to do. I mean, I always tell people I'm 82. They don't like it.
and they wouldn't
I don't
believe
think,
it. Believe me, they wouldn't believe it by
I don't
looking
think
at
people
you.
care. I
I
don't,
know because they think that so many people think that in certain ages have to look and be and act a certain
right,
way.
right. My mother used to tell people she was older than she was by a couple of
Interesting.
years. And I said, why did you do that? She said, I don't know. I like people to think I'm older. And then I really look good for how old I am.
Yeah.
It's just silly, but yeah. So do you think it's worth, okay, I think it's worth saying on these profiles, do they ask you specifically like what you're looking for?
No. Well,
Okay.
some do. I shouldn't say that. I have researched for my books
Uh-huh.
the different sites, and some actually have all this stuff you have to fill out, your religion, your this, your that. I just ignore them.
Oh, but you might want to put that you have preferences for religion
That's true.
or
That's true.
heritage. I mean, you might want to meet somebody with whom you have a lot in common.
True.
So,
That's
okay, you can
true.
say whatever you want
You
then.
can say whatever you want in your profile. You
Right.
know, I'm Jewish. I prefer meeting Jewish men for many reasons,
Hmm.
but yet I like other people too.
Sure.
I know that sounds kind of funny, but do you put that in your profile or not? I
I,
don't know.
I think you should put very honestly whatever it is in your profile.
It's
I had one friend who did a wonderful one, and she said, I'm not athletic, and I'm not. I mean, I hear stories about people, men who say, I'm athletic, and women also, and they're not, and they
I know. Or they'd
are
say, I want a woman who's really fit and she can climb mountains. Well, what if the woman can't? What if she has something where she can't? The thing is, you know what it all boils down to? We all have to meet each other. And then you feel the connection. So with the single sites today, you press a button and you can immediately meet them on Zoom, telephone, or personally,
Mhm.
whichever way you want. So you can tell by meeting in that button, in 2 seconds you can tell.
Yeah. So what other kinds of things do you cover? One of the things you talk about is sagging bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't we just do that? Why don't we just talk about that for a minute now? Because that's something that no one can avoid. I mean, as a rule, people don't. We get older and things kind of droop.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say about when you talk about your sagging body or anybody else's?
Well, what I say is because we live in an age where, of the muscles and the workout, we're in a workout age. And also we're in an age where Botox and whatever you want, it's go back, the fountain of youth, look younger. But even so, even with the worked out body, at certain stages of your life, things kind of sag, the stomach area will sag or this or that. And the thing is, I don't really think that it's that important.
Oh,
I
I don't either, but you get pretty graphic. I mean, I won't ask you to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, in the book I give examples of,
Your own
people I've met.
organs.
Yeah, right. I mean, it seems like men, they can be sagging to the ground, the
Right.
men I've met, but they want a woman who's
Oh,
really
oh,
fit.
I
They
know.
want to know about your workouts. Do you have a personal trainer? How much do you weigh?
Uh-huh.
That kind of thing. And, below me, this book is really not all about dating. I just have some examples and I call them the cranks because I'm just, I just profiled, I wrote about a certain group of men
Yeah.
that I met and I call them the cranks. I thought, oh my God, is this really going on? But there's probably some great men out there as well.
Yes, there
I didn't
are.
write about them. It
So
doesn't
I
make
have a
good
friend
copy.
who found somebody wonderful on a dating site, and she just went through like 35 dates, and she just kept going and going and going, and she found the one for her.
Oh, a lot of people have.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of people have. But that's not what I
Well, you
wanted
haven't
to
found yours
show.
yet.
The what?
You haven't found yours yet. So,
No, and I'm not looking. There's
oh,
the thing. I'm
yes.
really not. I'm really not. That's not why I go on the single sites. To be very honest, Janet, and candid, I went on for material.
Uh-huh.
I went on because I wanted to show a certain side that's going on. And I wanted to show the women who sadly are just craving to meet someone, particularly during the pandemic when everyone was locked behind the computer, and how so many of these men are recycled and they're not developed.
Yeah.
So I wanted to satirize almost that and show
And
that part of
have.
it.
But also,
But there's much, I agree with you that, there's probably lots of people meet people that way. And there's been wonderful stories. My own daughter met her husband online.
I didn't know
So,
that.
I mean, it happens, but if
Yes. But
they're not in my book.
right, okay. But that's not what your book's about. But
Right.
I think just kind of to wrap it up, I think it's important and will be helpful to the men and to the women to be
Mm-hmm.
careful what you put. If you start, if you remember the Rumpelstiltskin story, my
Yeah.
daughter can spin the straw into gold. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You start making promises or saying things that aren't true, you're within a minute, you're shown to be a big fat liar.
True. True. I mean,
And that's not going to get you the right kind of person. So what else
that's
do you talk
true.
about in your book?
Well, in a more serious note, I talk about police brutality. I have an essay on George Floyd, the murderer. I call
Uh-huh,
him
uh-huh.
George Floyd. I talk about racism in our country, which is rampant, how white people, white privileged people like myself, um, treat Black people and people of color. Um, I talk about homophobia and transphobia, which I feel very passionate about. And I've had experience in interviewing many young people in transition. But the thing is, it's I think I talk about elevators, how scary they are. You know, I just talk about a variety of opinions of things that bug me or I'm interested in. So I'm hoping to do a whole part two of Blow Me. And other subjects and topics. I talk about Netflix.
Oh,
Um,
you had a very bad experience there, which you may not want to go into, but
oh,
or
I
say
mean,
that.
yes, and the industry. I talk about, you know, the Hollywood industry, which
Yes.
and I talk about writing and the arts and just
You
little
also talk
snippets
about
of things.
friendships between women,
Yes.
and you've had a few that were just turned out to be horrible. I mean, people who go ahead.
Well, I think friendships between women are very in my real life, they're very important to me.
Mhm.
I love my friends with my women. I couldn't, they fuel my life and my existence and what I do, everything. But but I do talk about a lot of women I do know who I feel sad. They're wonderful and they have no sense of self. And
Oh,
they're
yeah.
really looking out of themselves for that partner. So to make themselves, to define them. And if they only knew they don't need that. Yes, have it, have love and all of that, but they don't need that
Well,
because
trying to turn yourself into something you're not to satisfy somebody else
yes,
is
and that's
just
what
a
happens.
cruising for a bruising, really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There is a lack, I think, in our youth-oriented culture of self. It's not you're really told to become the fountain of youth. You're told to become something. But why do you have that's fine too, you know, but they don't talk about looking inward. They talk about just everything on the outside,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, the inward. That's a whole nother
Okay. Well,
subject.
maybe we'll do a whole nother on that.
Yeah, that's a
I have,
whole
I have
nother.
a I have a question for you because, as you know, I am about the power of letters and gratitude letters and love
Oh,
letters
I'm
and
so excited about your work.
well, and I don't like to be the love letters police, but I have a question to you. All right,
Yes.
first of all, if you were to write one right now, to whom would it go?
A love letter?
Hmm.
Oh, that's a really good question. This is right off the top of my head,
Go ahead.
Janet. Could I write a love letter to a dog?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I've written
I
all the animals.
I'm in love with Betty,
I
who,
know. Oh,
you know, and I would love to write a love letter to her.
do it.
What telepathically what she gives me and
And
how
you know
I
what?
feel about her.
Bonnie will read it to her,
Yes.
and she will. I've written love letters to animals. I have a whole bunch of them.
Oh,
And
really? I didn't know that.
yes, and a couple of them are in my book that's coming out. But
Oh, good.
and I have actually a picture of my granddaughter several years ago reading a love letter I wrote to their new dog, and she's reading. She's like 7, and she's reading this note. The dog is sitting on her lap, staring into her face as she's because all creatures, I believe, know when somebody is speaking lovingly and kindly to them.
Oh, of course they do.
Oh, you should do it. Okay.
Oh, yes. I mean, just, you know, animals, a spider who you see walking in the light and is terrified
Yes.
because
Okay.
your shadow is near. I mean, I
Oh,
love that. And I'm excited about your book, The Naked Man of
yes.
Market Street,
We'll
coming
say that
out.
it's not out yet, but we'll
But it
thank you.
will soon.
So I have a thought for you.
Yes.
I don't ordinarily like to give assignments, but I can't resist this one. Have you ever written a letter of gratitude to yourself? I mean, just sat down and a piece of paper and dear Barbara, and written a letter to yourself about the things that you've overcome that you are proudest of.
You know, that's so interesting you say that, Janet,
Right.
because I'm finishing a novel I've been on 4 years, and there is a scene where she has a conversation with her other self, you know,
Okay.
the self that was, and I would love to do a letter like that because I do believe we all grow. And we
Yes.
all change. We grow and we grow and we grow.
And
And
self-awareness in the positive is an important lesson.
it's
So
very,
you do this, and we don't have too much time, so I'm going to ask you to come back for
I'd
another
love
episode,
to.
and we'll talk about more of these things. But if you write that letter to yourself, you handwriting's always best, I think. You address the
Yeah.
envelope to yourself, your address, and stick it in the mailbox.
Oh,
That's important. And when it comes to you in your pile of mail, it's kind of jarring seeing a letter to yourself in your own
I love
handwriting.
that.
And I will tell you that my experience has been with people and with me that the you who wrote it and the you who read it are going to be two different people.
Oh my God, that just gave me a chill because that is so important what you're doing.
Yes.
Because the you and the you is so important. We're so many, it brings up, the past and taking accountability and feeling
Oh,
regret
yeah.
and pain.
Yes. Are well, you've got a whole list, I know, of things that
Yes, it's
I know that you've got
incredible.
a personal list of wonderful overcomings. So I want to thank you.
Overcomings are important.
Yes,
Yes.
I want to thank you for doing this with me. We're kind of out
Thank
of
you.
time,
Oh,
but
Janet, thank you
will
so much.
you come back?
I will always love to come back. I love
Okay.
you and I love your work.
Thank you. I love yours. Thank you,
And
dear.
I will love to come back and thank you for listening, whoever is listening.
Oh, I always love listening to you. Yes. Um, so yes, I think we're just gonna say goodbye.
Yes.
And love from me to
Well,
you is
take
always
care.
you too, darling. So we'll talk
Bye.
soon and you'll come back.
Absolutely.
Okay, and
Thank
remember
you.
you can get this book on Amazon. Blow
Yes.
Barbara Rose. And blow me is one word. You have to point
No,
that.
it's 2 words now. They
Oh,
fixed
is it?
it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what with okay, two
Yeah.
words.
Yeah. Blow Me by Barbara Rose. Thank you,
Okay.
Janet, so
Bye,
much.
darling.
Bye,
Talk,
everyone. Mwah.
talk to you later.